Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Photography Guru, and today I want to talk to you about the histogram. But in a break from the norm, I'm not going to cover loads of maths and science and graphs, because that's what the histogram is. I've made several of these videos now, and they've all been dead boring, dull. Oh, it's not an exciting subject. So I thought, we'll do it a little bit differently with this one. It'll be practical. Hopefully you'll learn the basics of the histogram and discover some of its power. Diving straight in then, where's the histogram? What is the histogram? Here in the top right of the screen is the histogram then. It's also in the top right of the screen in Lightroom and available in Photoshop, as well as most other editing software suites. You also have a histogram in camera, and to be honest, that is where I find it most useful. Most of us have got a little LCD screen in the back of our camera, and you can keep chimping at it and studying, and is it sharp? Have I got the right expression on people's faces? And to be honest, it's too small. They're useless. Those little screens are no good for reviewing your image in detail, but what they are excellent for is the histogram. The histogram will tell you if it's correctly exposed. Is there too much light? Is there too much dark? Have you got nice overall tones? Because at the end of the day, that's what we want in an image. And the histogram shows us that. On the left of the histogram is where the dark channels are, or the blacks, and on the right are the whites, the light part, or the middle covers everything in between. So if you look at an RGB scale, if you type in 0 on R, 0 on G, 0 on B, you'll get black. If you type in 255 in each of those, you will get white. If you type in 255 on the red channel, 0 on the others, you will get red. And everything in between is a mix of those. So how does this help us with our editing? Well, we can see from this image, which is okay. It's okay. It's a little bit flat, a little bit hazy. The sun is here somewhere, but we can't really see it. But by manipulating the blacks, the whites, the shadows and the highlights, we can make the histogram a much more even distribution of tonal values. And I'm going to show you what I mean. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the image away. We're not going to look at the image, and I think we're going to improve it. So ignoring this image for a minute and this histogram here, we're going to be working here on the left. So we can see that we've got nothing in the blacks. It's very flat here. So I'm going to take the black slider and push it further into the blacks. Now I can see by the indication of this red lighting up that there's some clipping going on. What the clipping is where we're losing all detail. It's the underexposed areas, if you like. We're losing everything there. There'll be no lines, no detail whatsoever. It's just pure black in those areas. So we'll just take it out of there a moment. And with the whites are up fairly high too. So we're going to pull these whites back, and doing that is pushing everything towards the blacks, and as you can see has increased the blacks, so we need to move the blacks up a bit. Now just from those two sliders we've got something that is just touching the whites, just touching the blacks. So let's see if it's made much difference to the image itself. I think it has, and if we go side by side we can see the difference. It's a lot, particularly here in the sky. You can see the before, it's a little bit wishy-washy. As I said, the sun isn't there. There's no contrast in these clouds, but here there is. On the beach now, we seem to have a lot more contrast. It's a lot more satisfying to my eye, and that comes purely from manipulating the blacks, the whites, the highlights and the shadows to give us a histogram that covers the full spectrum. So here we are in Photoshop, brought the image in, and once again there's the histogram. It would be ever so easy now for me to tell you about the RGB histogram or looking at just the red histogram or the blue histogram or the uses of the luminosity. I could even tell you how the all channels view can really assist in your editing, looking just at the red channel, just at the green channel, just at the blue channel. There's so much I could tell you, but at the start of this I promised that I'd keep this practical. What you need to know is that your histogram should have a nice range from white to black with everything in between. It's a great starting point for your image. If you come back with photographs that are massively underexposed, possibly not that massively, everything's going to be over here. That's what you'll see in the camera. If it's overexposed, everything's going to be over here. That's what you'll see in the camera. If it's nicely exposed, see here, just slightly overexposed. If I go down a bit, slightly underexposed. If we can get this centered or thereabouts, got a nice image. There's lots we can do. There's lots we can do to change the histogram, to alter what we're looking at. There's many processes, and that's not for here. As I say, the important thing is you know the use of the histogram, how to use it, when to look at it, what you want it to look like. Later on, we might come back to this image, do some more work on it. We might add some curves as I've done there. We might add some levels, adjustments, a few masks. There's plenty more to learn. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch this. If there's anything you specifically want me to cover, write it down there in the comments and I'll see what I can do. If you've got any questions or comments also, put those down there. If you liked what you saw, drop me a like. If you didn't, don't press anything. And I'll catch you again. Thank you.